that's a tremendous looking trophy.
Hello, welcome to Platinum Explosion, number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Dylan Blight, and joining me, Ashley Hubley.
Hey, Dylan. Excited to be here as a pro. Well, with a pro.
Are you a pro? Do you have a pro?
No.
No. So are
this
you
is
really
pro Platinum Explosion now.
Oh, pro Platinum Explosion. Yeah.
Everybody should be pro Platinum Explosion.
It's true. Yeah, so I mean, this week was just basically my impressions of the PS5 Pro, because that's what's happening.
That's why this episode is very late.
Yeah.
Because you've been downloading everything.
Correct. And I just want to say that's the first thing was, so I pick it up. What day it come out? Wednesday?
Thursday.
Thursday. So pick it up Thursday on my way into work. I start work at 10 o'clock that day. So I pick it up, like JB opens at 9, go in there, on the way to work, pick it up, have it there. Now after work, I decided to go to the movies. So then go to movies, go home. By the time I get home, I unbox it. All right. But yeah, so then I get home, set it all up, everything like that. I'm like, awesome. Let's see how we go. Hopefully I should be able to play something before we go to bed tonight. And then I was like, no, I'm not playing fucking shit. All these games will take forever to do.
You really fucked up. You didn't think it through. You should have taken it out at work. I'm sure you could have found a random TV and plugged it in.
Yeah. What? The Wi-Fi.
And then just downloaded stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, Wi-Fi's terrible at work though.
Still would be 12 hours of downloading something.
Yeah. True.
You could have downloaded Vampire Survivors.
Actually, it's so funny. The first thing I did download was Vampire Survivors, because I played a little bit of that. Because that night when I set it up, I'm like, I'm not going to play anything before bed tonight. I just committed to that, and I just downloaded Vampire Survivors and played a bit of that. Not even.
How did Vampire Survivors play on the PS5
Pro?
Man,
it was.
I'm sure one person who played Vampire Survivors on the PS5
Pro. I'm sure someone else is like, I wonder if it'll look any better, and it still looks like Vampire Survivors. So very good.
I'm sure the particle effects look fantastic, though. Particles, particle sprites.
Yeah. Next level. I couldn't believe you should upgrade for Vampire Survivors. What was I going to say? So PS5 Pro, got it. Now, I will say, the first thing that actually surprised me, and I'd seen people note this, but it's one of those things that until I myself, I was like, oh, because I've got original PS5,
OG.
The Slim or anything like that, OG. So, I take it out of the box. I'm like, holy fuck, this thing is light as fuck. It is way lighter than the OG PS5, shockingly. And then it's also it's the same height as it, but it's way thinner as well. I was like, oh, okay. So that was the one thing that and again, this is one of those things I've read and people say, but I'm like, yeah, sure. But then when I pulled it out of the box and set them side by side, I was like, oh, okay, there you go. I like the design too. I'll say that it's got how it's got it's got the three little slits. Sort of its design, grills or whatever you want to call them. That's its standout point to the degree that's it's sort of its symbol. If you scroll through the PlayStation Store and you're looking for games that say they're PS5 Pro Enhanced, the little symbol is it's PlayStation 5 with the three little slits through it. That's how you know it's a Pro symbol. So good for them. All right. So then once I finally got some games installed, I've played around with a few different ones, and I guess surface level, just overall thoughts are it's exactly what I thought it would be, and I have no complaints. But and this is the thing, I feel like for this, no one should really be sitting on the fence at this stage, but I do feel like, and I have seen, so especially when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I think is the number one game I have seen people who I've seen share some resemblance of, I had no interest in this at all, but now that I'm seeing the footage side by side, I would nearly want to upgrade just for this. That seems to be the one game that people are really gravitating towards, and there's a lot of games that do this, and this is the pitch, isn't it? The pitch for this console is, hey, imagine the performance mode and the visual mode, fidelity mode, together. There you go. That's that's basically the goal in the pitch here. And that with Final Fantasy, I think, is a lot of people, because And I mean, I get it because I played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the performance mode for the 60 frames, and it is drastically uglier than the visual mode. However, I could not play that game at 30. Like, it's just was going to drive me insane. So, yeah, people who are big fans of that, just seeing it side by side, I think that's the most shocking one, especially because it's an open world game and stuff like that. The first thing I dived into though was
Vampire
Survivors, not yet. All right, the second thing I dove into was actually big old Spooderman 2, which unshockingly I do think, because Insomniac has already done a really good job at like putting all these different modes and updates into their games. Marvel Spider-Man 1, then Marvel Spider-Man 2. Also, clarify, Marvel Spider-Man 2. I started New Game Plus, so I got to play through the whole opening section. First couple of hours is what I played through.
Yeah.
So it has two. Most of these games now have like, they call them like pro fidelity or pro what modes and stuff like that. But it is literally like, and the other thing I really appreciate is in the main menu where it's got like Miles and Peter, they're like hanging off whatever the building, like sitting there. If you change the visual mode in the main menu before you even click continue new game or anything like that, I like how you can just see things changing there and then without having to like get into the game, so you can tell what it's visually going to affect. But it's like one mode is hardcore. Here's some new ray tracing like effects, like ray tracing shadows and a couple other bits. Another ray tracing thing that they've like added in for this mode. And it's like they try to hit 60 or whatever. And then the other one is literally like, hey, all the ray tracing that we originally had in the game, so mostly the reflections and stuff in the buildings and stuff, puddles, water is back. All that's turned on and it runs at 60 and it's 4K. There you go. So it's like all the choices that you originally had in Spider-Man go for gold. So yes, it looks fantastic and it plays fantastic. Because originally, I remember when I played Marvel Spider-Man 2 the first time, it was, I would flick to that mode with the ray tracing on and stuff, and I'd like go stand near a big reflective building and just walk around a little bit and be like, this is nice and stuff. But then the second I was like, you try and like swing through the sky, I'd be like, holy, this is fucking disgusting. 30 frames per second. This feels terrible. Switch it back to performance mode. Go back to the 60 frames. Okay, and never go back now. So it's like they fix all problems, and it's like somehow they make a game that already had no issues even better. However, and this isn't really a however, the one asterisk on this, and basically anything really talking about here, is there's no reason in the same world anyone should buy this console to replay or play Spider-Man with these slightly better visuals. That's not what we're doing here. However, it will be interesting going forward when new game releases come out, and if there are big differences. Like I think, like, if Final Fantasy came out this week and people were looking at the stark differences, PS5 Pro sales would go up massively, I think. More if that game was out this week. So I'm going to be really interested to see how that goes in the future, or something I'll ask you about in a minute. But so then I played what else did I play around a bit with? Dead Island 2 has a enhanced mode, so I dove into that a little bit. And again, it's just literally, I played that for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It is, hey, the game, you can play it now at its best visual quality at 60 frames. And that's exactly what it does. I was like, cool, this feels great. Then I played a bit of Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered that they obviously just put out. Now, already, that was already a case of, hey, they've made a game that what wasn't ugly before already looked better on the base PS5 because I already played it on there. And then you play it in this one and it's somehow, I don't like, it is, because this is one of those cases of it, I'm like, this game didn't need to exist. But I mean, honestly, I nearly feel like it's probably one of the best looking games. Weirdly, it's now one of the best looking games that you could actually play on a PlayStation console, that remastered version of Horizon, because they've added well, who knows? Maybe Forbidden West looks better. I actually haven't dove into that one, but there's like a balanced pro mode that like runs at 120 frames per second, and it's like full 4K and all this shit. It looks insane. I don't know how they do it. They're wizards. I do think, and this is the connective fabric you'll find between this, all the games that have the standout best looking modes on the Pro are all, of course, Sony first party studios, and that's going to be the thing. It'll be really interesting that the pudding and the proof over time is going to be the third parties, I think. I played some Gran Turismo, even though it doesn't have the patch yet, because I saw that Digital Foundry said that the game just via the power of the console now, you can actually play it better, even though it hasn't got the patch yet. So apparently there's a patch coming for Gran Turismo that'll add it so you can play the game with ray tracing, because this is the whole thing when they put out Gran Turismo. You probably don't remember, but they put out Gran Turismo. You had ray tracing in the showroom of the cars, but it's all turned off in any of the racing. There's no ray tracing. But at the moment, you can go into the game and it had two options. The base thing of fidelity or frame rate. But if I pick to now play it, no patch, just somehow the raw power of the Pro fixes this. But the no patch, you just pick the visual quality. It's running it at 120 frames per second. So it's the best looking version of Gran Turismo running at 120, and obviously that feels very, very good with a fast racing game like that. So already I was like, wow, this is great, and that's no patch. It's just doing it. Was there something else I played? I was trying to keep that. Apex Legends, played around a round or two of that the other night. It's fixed. Basically, what they've fixed there is they had released a 120 frames like performance mode on the base PS5. However, it was notably quite blurry at times. Like it's to achieve that 120 frames, it's like the draw distance was brought in. This just completely fixes that. It doesn't, like, I could see no issues. I was shooting people. I was like purposely picked up a sniper so I could look around and whatever else. So no issues with that. And it was running 120 frames locked because they or actually, I feel like it actually went above it a couple times. I saw the numbers spike up. I think that's the only stuff I've dove into so far. Oh, and I was playing Dragon Age today, which now is, so you just play Dragon Age on its prettiest set. It's basically just the prettiest setting at 60 frames, not having the peak. So that's the thing. If before that, if you're playing on a base PS5, you can play pretty settings at 30 frames or whatever. So again, that's a fast-paced third-person action game. I was playing on the 60 frames version when I started the game, and now I can just play with the nice-looking thing. Which, I'll be honest, I wasn't bothered by it too much when I was playing on the PS5 because most of the time I wouldn't really notice too much. However, in the cutscenes, I do think my character model now looks noticeably a lot better, and the hair looks nicer. Is my takeaway from that. And there's a few other games I haven't even started, and I'm still going to work through. I've downloaded some trials for things too that say they're PS5 Pro Enhanced, just to give them a go. Like Baldur's Gate 3 has a 3-hour trial that's apparently enhanced. F124 has a 3-hour trial that's apparently enhanced. So like any of these games I don't own, I'm like, well, now's the time with this PlayStation Plus Deluxe
finally getting an advantage.
So I finally it finally becomes useful because I can just download these games and get more than enough time that I want it to be able to just play around with them a bit so far. So that's what have you seen? Have you watched anyone's videos? Checked out any things?
I have no interest at all because it's all lies and unnecessary stuff that you don't need to play your video games.
You're dead to me. Sure, you've seen some like people's reactions or anything to it. Like
they've liked the design, and everybody wishes that the original base PS5 was that size and weight. Is my understanding.
Really light. I don't know how. The only other thing, here's the big negative.
It's the vents. It makes it more aerodynamic. Does make it feel lighter.
It could be. Pulling that shit out of the box and having no stand in there. Disgusting.
Yeah.
I can get the like having to buy the disc drive. I can accept that. The stand thing, that's
now you're upset about the stand thing.
Yeah, because I've got one now.
We said it was dumb to be upset about it. So you're gonna buy a stand?
Yeah, I've had to buy a fucking stand. I mean, honestly, the thing is, depending on where your PlayStation is, so like mine has to go vertical because it's like I've got it next to, and this is just a first world problem, but I've got it next to an Xbox Series X and I've got it next to a 4K Blu-ray player, right? They run along the shelf. Now the Xbox obviously stands up, fine. The Blu-ray player cannot stand up. That has to be a vertical object.
Has to be horizontal.
Horizontal object. The other two have to be vertical, right? So I have no choice. PS5 has to stand up. And it's fine. It's standing up. It's definitely that element of like if anyone ever like bumped into that, it's definitely gonna fall over. That's what.
Just get some gaffer tape.
That's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard come out of your mouth. There are a lot of games to try it and play. And the other thing I'll say that's annoying. Oh, Demon Souls I played as well. Sorry, I played Demon Souls. Obviously, a launch PS5 game. Again, it is very much just no one played it on the pretty mode because who the fuck is playing Demon Souls at 30 frames per second? No one is playing it that way. So this is literally just do you want the nice looking mode with the 60 frames? There you go. Have a good day. That's exactly what it is. And that's good. I'm not trying to undersell it, but it's like I'm not trying to oversell it either. So it's literally like, hey, that's what you're fucking getting here. There's still a bunch of other shit I have to fucking try. The annoying thing is, at the moment, I've ordered it. No, have I ordered? No, I can't order. They're fucking sold out everywhere still. But because I don't have a disc drive, like a few games I have that I own on disc and don't have a code for, I cannot try out. Most notably, I own Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on disc. I did not get a code for that. So
is there a game trial?
There's not a game trial. How pooey for fooey is that? You know, so what's the point of my subscription? You know what I mean? What's even the point going on? I can't remember. I did download a few other things. I've pretty much gone through anything that I could. I'll just dive in and have a go at. I think that for someone like me, Ratchet and Clank I downloaded, even though I'm sure it's like, again, like based on that fucking video that he put out time, it's like I'll be this close to my screen going, yeah, yes, no. Mark said he was right. I can definitely tell that I can see that face on that stand in the background. Yeah. Money well spent. Do you think this is the thing? Because I'm playing it, I'm enjoying it. I'm the audience for this sort of thing. You're not. That's fine, right? And that is the decision making thing for if you need or even care about buying this thing. All right, you should know if this is for you or not, or if you would even fucking care if it's for you or not. But if Grand Theft Auto 6, and this is the big one, if Grand Theft Auto 6 releases and it has a normal, like what we used to on PS5, and it has a performance mode and a fidelity mode, but the Pro can run it at 60 frames on that fidelity mode, do you think more people will just buy the living fuck out of this console for that one game?
Yes.
Yes. I also think so too. I've seen people say
I feel like
they bought it preemptively, but
yeah, you know, I feel like people have bought it preemptively. Obviously, you know, people are holding off until there is a reason to get it. It's, you know, the potential biggest game of the next generation of, you know, games at the best quality possible. You know, that would be the reason. Or, you know, yeah, I'm sure there's like a bunch of titles that they could announce that would make people buy it. You know,
well, it's a thing of I now expect like any first party Sony game for the entirety of this generation now. Not to say that the normal PS5 version will be bad, but it is going to be that thing of like I expect to see this. We're going to see a million new stories of
Yotai, you know.
Yeah, so Ghost of Yotai, right?
Yeah.
That'll come out and it'll have a 30 frames fidelity, 60 performance mode on a base PS5, and it'll have the best of both worlds on Pro. Again, it's not like your version of the game is going to be like super subpar.
No,
you may not. And
still going to be fantastic.
You don't care, and again, the game will still look fantastic, but you don't care. But for people like me who are like, I want the best of both worlds. I want to eat my hamburger with my fries. I don't want to wait. You know what I mean? Like I just want
I want a bigger mouth.
I want to get into this motherfucker. You know, for those people, shit like that is going to So they definitely will buy the console for that. I think that's a given for any Sony first party game. I think if Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out and they confirm that this shit will like run at the best of both worlds on the PS5 Pro, suddenly you see PS5 Pros just sell out. Like, I reckon they're gone at that point. They become a rarity for a while there. So I don't know what other games. I don't know what other third party games could do that, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean, all the big titles, you know, it's like, the next Witcher, it's going to be PS4 Pro. Any massive franchise, you know.
I've seen a lot of people asking, and I don't think they've announced it, or maybe they haven't, I forgot, but the Cyberpunk to get a PS5 Pro patch I've seen a lot of people asking. That hasn't been announced, I don't think, though. So
I doubt they'll go back and work. They're like, we've had enough of working on this game, fixing it, bring it up.
Is it on the list? No, it's not on the list. It's unannounced.
I don't know how much work it would entail to get, you know, to run both things, you know. How much work is going into these free upgrades for these games?
For new ones when they're making them already, I don't. Not,
but for older titles, you know, how much work went into Demon's Souls? Not
a lot, I don't think.
Okay,
I don't think so.
Just clicking some switches to.
I know, but I don't think that's
not that simple.
I think there's more. I think going here's. I think the ones that are literally just take both modes and sort of just combine it into one. Is a lot easier than, like, at least with Insomniac's, what they've added with their patch is like they've done the best of both worlds plus here's a like more experimental. We've added some ray tracing stuff that wasn't in the game originally. That's a bit more work, obviously, because they're adding they're adding technology in that wasn't in the game at all.
Yeah,
which I mean technically does mean that the pro version of the game has stuff that the normal version doesn't now. Most people don't give a fuck, but I guess technically
extra lights.
Yeah, correct. Extra lights.
The puddles are now reflective.
Yeah. It is crazy also, like Call of Duty Black Ops 6, which I've also got, and that'll be on my list of things to keep trying as well. But that's got a patch and plays better on PlayStation 5 Pro than any Xbox. You know? Like, how wild is, like, that's the world we now live in. It's like Microsoft, I'm sure Microsoft doesn't give a fuck, because I don't think they give a fuck at all about any of this. But it is sort of crazy that they buy Call of Duty and then the best place to play it is the best console to play it is the PS5 Pro. So that, because their patch, they added ray tracing and PSSR support, and I mean that is the one thing. So like that is going to be the going term that you're going to get used to hearing. PSSR support. This game really uses PSSR, and again, if people forgot that's PlayStation's like AI technology thing. So I think it's like a PlayStation Super sampling, something like that. It's the same as like on PC you have DLSSR and AMD has whatever theirs is called. I can't remember, to be honest. But DLSSR is the most popular one that you'll see mentioned and stuff like that. And it is and it has, well, the thing is, it on PC, that technology has been used for, I don't know, years now, to the point I can't remember when it was first put in, and it's become such a integral way of getting the most out of PC games, because basically it means that with that technology it can help if your PC isn't at the top of the line thing, it can make it so you can play a game that, like, say Cyberpunk comes out tomorrow, you can play that on high even if your PC is 10 years old potentially, because of something like DLSSR. And how that technology works. So PSSR is doing basically the same thing. It's AI, like takes it down to like 1080p and then like re-upscales it, but you can't tell all this crazy stuff. So that's going to be the going keyword. I haven't tried any PS4 games, but I did watch some. I think it was Digital Foundry had or maybe it's a blur. I watched at least someone did talking about some PS4 games. Depending on the game, and this is where the things where they might need to be patched, because of course everyone jumps straight to Bloodborne and stuff like, can you play Bloodborne on this and suddenly fix the issue? You cannot, because it doesn't matter how powerful the console is, it is still locked to 30 frames per second. It doesn't make a difference. Although I saw someone did
AI those extra frames in.
No, so apparently people have done side-by-side videos. It makes the game look a little bit better. Like, I mean a little bit better. Like, you have to be like, it's pixels, like, like the details on some of the characters and stuff like that. And that's with there's a setting in the PS5 Pro you could flick on or off to they had the same thing on the PS4 Pro to like make if you want to try it to make older games look better and stuff like that. So it's the newer version of that. And it makes the game look better. However, because the game is locked at 30, it does not just delete that code from it and like unlock the frame rate. But the games that people are discovering things with, older games, PS4 games, are the games that have like unlocked frame rates. So maybe they were, sitting around that 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second previously, because that's just the most that they could get out of the power. But now when they're just booting up the exact same game, it is running at a much higher frame rate because it's unlocked in the coding of the game. So that's been interesting. I'm sure people will still be discovering stuff for weeks to come as they try different games and be like, oh my god, insert game. It's unlocked frame rate. If you boot it up, it looks and plays like never before. I guarantee that'll be some really weird game that no one gives a fuck about, but it'll happen. I think that's about it. I mean that's it's my overall thoughts on the console are it's doing exactly what it said it would do, and I have no.
It's doing what you wanted it to do.
Yeah, so. And I do think the question of is it worth it is sort of a redundant question.
Totally subjective.
It's very subjective. Yeah. So I fully am like, I care about this stuff, so it's worth it to me. But for you, it would be like, imagine you went out and brought this console, and you would be like, I don't feel like this was worth it for me because I don't really care that much. So it's totally subjective, and sort of a redundant way to boil it down, I think. But yeah, cool. So I'll play some more games, do stuff like that. I also might whip out the PSVR 2 because I've added some of those games got like can play better for this.
Do you still need an adapter?
Yeah, I've got one. It's fine. No, hold on. No, that was for the PSVR 1. What are you talking about? Sorry.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no, PSVR 2 is fine. Sorry. But they cancelled the adapter. I know they've discontinued the adapter.
Yeah.
Boo-hoo. It's fine. They sent me 2 originally, so I've got an extra one here. I might be able to sell it soon for $1 million. Go me. All right. Thank you very much for joining us on Platinum Explosion. We'll see you again in a couple weeks' time. Goodbye.